drinking beer and talking sports is what we do. Thanks for hitting us up. Talking about the hits this week, we got some big hits. Gronk, the party animal, is causing a stir in the NFL. What do you guys think about Gronk's hit, Mr. Chop Block in the back?
I thought it was the biggest temper tantrum I've seen out of an NFL player maybe ever. The fact that he turned around and literally dropped a forearm into the back of this guy's head while he was literally defenseless. He's laying on his face.
Yeah.
And to only get a 1-game suspension seemed a little bit. And then the idea that he's appealing it
right.
was just like a complete, like, what the hell?
You should be happy for the 1 game. Just take your 1 game.
Oh, I know.
And it's a garbage game. They're playing like.
And he knew he was wrong.
They might as well rename the Dolphin Stadium Tom Brady Stadium because he owns them. Like
Right.
he's made a living off them. Like it's money in the bank. They don't even need Gronk.
The fact that Gronk like stutter stepped and went down with a bionic forearm, but he hit him with the elbow pad part.
Yeah.
You know, right to the back of the neck. You know, he's just laying there. Gronk is like a bear, right?
He's a
It's
big
not
dude.
like
He's
a
a big
punter,
dude.
you know, doing it. He's a big dude.
But with that, what's going to stop him from retribution? The big one I like to see, not for people getting injured, but from a drama standpoint, was the Juju Smith, the George Iloka, all the hits. The Bengals, 2 years ago, threw away their playoff appearance, their playoff win
On these hits.
on just perfect, just doing stupid stuff. So my thing is it perfect timing by the Steelers? Can Cincinnati make the playoffs and shoot themselves in the foot again if they play the Steelers?
I don't know. The suspensions don't match the crime. You know, I mean, the Gronk with 1, he should have got at least 2.
Yeah, and
At
then
least
if
2, up to
for
4.
weird reason he appeals it and they give him some kind of a slack,
Oh, it's
it
gonna be
doesn't
an
look.
uproar.
Well, if you give him 4 and he appeals it and gets 2, it's kind of like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
right.
a little padding.
But
But
if
you
he
get
gets
no
a
room
9,
for padding with a 1-game suspension.
Well, they overturned the George Iloka one. And my thoughts on those 3 hits in general that were highlighted this weekend. Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'll get at is all 3 were intentional, but for different reasons. Yes, they were. Don't shake your head. Now listen. They were all 3 intentional for different reasons. George Iloka, the hit on Antonio Brown at back in the end zone was to separate the ball from the body.
Yes.
Okay? It wasn't to hurt him.
But
it
was it
to separate
intentional?
the ball.
Was it
But he
helmet to helmet?
intentionally-
Was it helmet to helmet?
No, he went helmet to face mask.
It was shoulder pad
So,
to helmet.
but
he
it
had
was
his head
intentional.
turned.
He
So
didn't-
that's
he didn't
nothing.
have-
That's a
listen,
football move.
There's a difference here. There's
It's a football
malicious
move.
intent, and then there's just a football move.
That was a football
So they were
move.
all intentional, but they were intentional for different purposes. Gronkowski's was intentional because it was malicious.
Yeah, he was not
okay.
intentional.
That was not a football play nor
Mhm.
move.
Mhm.
Okay. Now Juju Smith-Schuster's
Football
was
move.
a football play.
Mhm.
Was it intentional? Yes, because he was trying to block him. He was trying to put a big hit on Perfect. So they were all intentional for different purposes, either a football play or malicious.
Yes, it's true. But football plays do not deserve to be in the same category as what Gronk just did. It's
No,
a football
Gronk's
play.
completely-
The NFL, honestly, this is.
But they were
and
all
I-
intentional for different
I
reasons.
get what you're saying. They need to go back a little bit. All right, I understand what they're doing as far as trying to protect player safety.
Yeah.
Okay, but right now you have defensive players that don't even know how to tackle because they're
Nobody
not sure
knows
what they can do.
exactly.
It's almost the same as nobody knows what the hell a catch is right
The
now.
target zone is jacked, even on an offensive player and on a quarterback especially. I mean, if you're a big name quarterback and you come close to their knees, they're throwing a flag. And then on top of it, the quarterback's going to sell it and like get up like, oh no, where's the flag? You know, just like a receiver
They're looking for the
for
yards.
pass interference. I mean, it is getting ridiculous with
It
these
is.
flags,
It is.
let alone
Why do
nobody
they
knows what
why
the
do they
zones
even
are.
say these are rules? Like Brandon said, they're pretty much up for interpretation because they
Yeah,
change them
yeah,
weekly.
right.
The catch thing. I was always taught that the ruling on the field stands unless there's undeniable evidence that can overturn it. But they've been turning everything over.
But the thing is, you take the human element out
And
completely.
I hate.
completely
I
with replays.
I hate the new catch rules.
Oh, they're
I want to
horrible.
go back.
Horrible.
If we can, NFL, I know you want to get away from like what you did in the 70s and the 80s, but if we could go back, maybe not on defense because you're
Why
trying
don't
to
you
protect
go back
players,
to those highlights and
but
take away catches?
Go back to the 80s. What catches were catches. I remember it didn't matter if the ball fumbled. It mattered if you got up with the ball. If you that was a catch. If you hit the ground and the ground caused the ball to pop out, that was a ground rule fumble. Like it wasn't a fumble, but the ball
incomplete pass.
Yes, call it what it is. Let's not make this so.
They're making it so difficult.
Quit leaving it up to the referees for these games.
That's what I'm saying.
That should not be
the
this way.
replays. Even in baseball now, you're taking away the human element of every sport. Now they're going to talk about having replays in fighting. You know, so now you're going to have replays and all this stuff, and you're taking away that pureness of the sport and the game itself by taking that human element away. And it kind of sucks. I mean, I get it because it does make a change and difference in plays and outcomes, but
that's the problem. It's making it.
But it's also killing time too.
Yeah.
You know, like in basketball now.
But they're not doing it right.
What about these flagrant fouls in basketball?
Yeah.
They're ridiculous.
But at this point, we're talking about football. It would be different if the referees were getting it right. They're actually eating up time by having to go watch the instant replay on it and still getting it freaking wrong.
Right.
Like it'd be different if they were
like the Des Bryant catch.
But we could name a thousand different things that have gone.
Safarian Jenkins.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Miller when he got injured.
Yeah.
You know, just a few weeks back.
So there's somebody else who got hit recently.
Who's that?
The baddest man on the planet, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers got his clavicle broken, and they're saying they should have never put him on the IR in the first place. But they're saying he could be back already, but because they put him on the IR, he can come back week 15.
Right.
Is it worth it to bring Aaron Rodgers back?
Nope.
We've seen this story before. They brought Tony Romo back early, and what happened?
Yeah, it broke again.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Here's the deal. They're not going to make the playoffs. You can, barring some weird catastrophe of everything falling apart for everybody else around them, they're not getting in.
If Minnesota is 7-5 or something, I can feel where they come from because they have a matchup against Minnesota. But with the NFC,
if they're mathematically in it by the time Rodgers takes a snap, I would do it because him at 80%, 70% is better than anybody they got behind center at 100%.
Him at 50% is better. I'm just saying that
it
the possibility
so
of him getting hit there without
absolutely. That's
Romo tried to do it.
If they had a running game,
Which they don't.
They would be a lot better.
Romo tried to do it, and in a sense, that's where Dak Prescott got his start because he couldn't stay on the field because of this. Right. I don't think rushing him back is worth it. I don't think they have a chance to win a Super Bowl.
But think about it. I mean, we're not doctors up here on the set. Are they really rushing him back, or are we just doing comparison because what we've seen before?
Here's the thing.
Maybe he is actually.
We look at these athletes like they're superhuman. They're not. They're regular people.
Right.
If you had that injury in a workplace, whatever, they wouldn't even tell you to try this, to play a full contact anything in this time limit. So why?
Thanks to his right arm too.
Exactly. His right arm, in reality, is worth $500 million. Right. Think about what he makes over the entire. It's $500 million. Why would you? I don't even want him tackling. Yeah. He throws a pick. I don't even want him tackling.
It's not like
Jay Cutler the other year, the Bears were like playoff bound. Mm-hmm. He throws a pick against San Diego. He tries to tackle him. He breaks hurt. He gets hurt. Where did they go after that? They missed the playoffs. It's easier to find a neurosurgeon than it is to find a quarterback that's proficient in the NFL. So do not rush Aaron Rodgers back because you want him for 2 games. The teams he's playing are Carolina and Minnesota.
They're coming at you.
Kuechly's gonna get you.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, all the defensive linemen are 250 and up, you know, so they're all coming at you. But the fact is, if they're not mathematically in it, just screw it. You know, put them on, let them lead the deal, and go on.
Even if they are mathematically in it, as we're saying, are they mathematically in it to be a Super Bowl contender?
If he's playing. If Aaron Rodgers is playing, they're always a contender.
If Aaron Rodgers is 100%, yes.
They're always a contender.
If Aaron Rodgers is at 75% and you're lining him up in front of the Minnesota Vikings defense or the Carolina Panthers defense or any
if they were like the Denver Broncos when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl, when they were a machine and they just wanted somebody who was able to get that offense out there.
So what do we all say then?
I say sit him.
I say sit him too.
So there's a debate of what's going on right now with rookies right now in the NFL. We had last year we had Wentz and we had Goff and all them. This year we have Leonard Fournette, Kamara from New Orleans, Hunt from Kansas City, Evan Ingram from the Giants, T.J. Watt, McCaffrey. We got a couple guys in there named Deshaun Kaiser and Mitchell Trubisky. Both know the streets of Cleveland pretty well at this point. He might Kaiser might be living on the streets of Cleveland here pretty soon. He keeps it up. Which one of these guys is going to win the Rookie of the Year?
Who you got, Brian?
We'd have talked at the beginning of the year. I think we actually brought this up in similar segments at the beginning of the year. I was leaning towards Kareem Hunt. Then there was a part of me that leaned towards Deshaun Watson. And of course, we all know what happened there. And right now, I personally feel like it's in a landslide, which he might have been a surprise. I wouldn't even have thought of him at the beginning of the year. It's Kamara.
Yeah,
He's been basically the blood flow of that offense. I mean, Mark Ingram's doing extremely well.
Called zoom and boom.
But you know,
when did the Saints become a rushing team?
When they ended up with
I think Ingram has around 900 yards and
what they're doing,
Kamara has around 600 yards.
Look, they're not just a rushing team. They're preserving Drew Brees is what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right, this team right now reminds me of when the Saints had Darren Sproles and went to the Super Bowl. That's what
This reminds me of John Elway when he set all his records. He got his ass kicked for 15 years, and all of a sudden Terrell Davis comes into town. They're not put them together.
Right.
They are one Terrell Davis. Yeah, so it's towards the same age, around the same age, even though Drew Brees does not look the part of John Elway when he was there. No. Actually, I think Drew Brees is older than what.
But Elway was more tattered and torn.
Tattered and torn, right. So out of these, the ones I'm seeing as going on, Kamara's a good one, Hunt, Fournette. That man stays healthy. Yeah, he's the type with that defense.
Yeah.
Keep that defense fresh. Keep that ball rolling. They get a quarterback. Jacksonville Jaguars are dangerous.
Where'd my beer go?
Oh my God.
Here you go. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are they going to get Eli Manning? They fired Ben McAdoo. They fired the GM and Reese.
I don't believe.
Do you think they're going to keep him? John Gruden said, I might be interested, man, if the Giants come calling.
If Eli stays.
If Eli stays. If you were Eli, would you say, you know what? You see that defense down in Jacksonville? You see that offense? I'm the missing link. I'm the piece.
Yeah.
Do you go?
What, Eli?
Yeah. You go to Florida?
Are you asking if we are
You
Eli?
take your $100 million contract
asking...
and go to a no state tax?
If I was Eli, I would go to Jacksonville.
Are you asking me if I'm Eli, would I go? Or are you asking me if I was Jacksonville, would I want Eli? Those are two different questions.
If you're Eli, do you go?
If I'm Eli, you're damn skippy. If I'm Jacksonville,
I would feel disrespected.
I'm not sure. Well, here's the deal. They tried their best to be respectful to him. They said, hey, dude, we don't want to ruin your streak. Go ahead and start. And he did feel disrespected by it because he knew he wasn't going to finish the game. McAdoo's got to be the biggest dummy I've ever even seen coach.
You can tell that by his haircut.
when you bench him and you don't start the rookie and you go to Geno,
yeah.
that there was the slap.
That
was the slap in Eli's face.
I think he wanted out.
I like that they got Spags up there now as a head coach. You know, he's familiar. He was a Super Bowl defensive coordinator when they went. And, you know, he's an Eli fan.
I truly feel that Eli actually loves being the New York Giants quarterback.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I truly feel that.
Well, just like Peyton loved being the.
I don't think the owner there wants Eli gone.
From Eli Manning to a man in Peyton Manning. They're talking about him possibly being the GM or the president, of the Cleveland Browns. Sachi Brown just got released. Why would you hire a guy that only knew about baseball for football? Only in Cleveland can you hire a Moneyball expert, a numbers.
But that was Dee Podesta, right?
What's that?
Dee Podesta that Cleveland brought in for baseball.
The baseball guy, yeah.
Well,
because he was with the New York Mets.
Yeah, still.
Sacha Brown's a Harvard guy.
So regardless, so is Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you know what Clint feels about Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Well, he got a nice beard. With
Sashi going out the door, it didn't happen because of his job performance, oddly enough. I know some people are going to look at me crazy when I say that. It actually happened because him and Hugh Jackson hadn't spoken in almost going on 2 months. So 2 months of the season, there's been no interaction with the head coach. They had the Buffalo move over trying to get the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. Yeah, there was that Buffalo move.
They didn't finish out the paperwork. I've never heard such a thing.
So, I mean,
The factory of sadness.
Here's the deal. What did he do wrong? He let go of quite a few players.
He came to Cleveland. That's what he did wrong.
Okay, what has he done right? He's actually set the Browns up to probably have the best draft next year,
Picks
2018.
wise, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's been getting a lot of picks for us.
I like the Garrett pick.
Yeah.
He failed on not picking up
Carson
Wentz, okay. But you know what? And here's the deal. A lot of people have to understand that if your team's not ready,
You mean Donovan McNabb 2.0?
I don't feel bad for the guy. I mean, they've had 9 GMs since 1999.
I just want to point out that honestly, I think the team he came to was the reason the outcome came. It had nothing to do with the job he was doing.
Real fast.
Go downhill.
Who's the one that leads them to the promised land? Who's the one? Is it Peyton Manning, or do you see another GM out there that?
I would love to see Gruden come to Cleveland.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's probably never going to happen. It's wishful thinking. But
No, honestly, Peyton Manning's kind of realistic. They, him and Haslam are.
It's a
buddies.
no-lose situation.
Tennessee alone.
You have a ton of draft picks. You have money to
If
spend.
you come in and you take them to 6 wins next year, you are like the
Right.
man.
Right.
Like just give them 6.
You go to New York.
Yeah,
How many do you got to win?
12.
12 games.
Yeah.
Cleveland 6. You win 9 the next year. You go 8-8 the third year. The factory of sadness is a little happy.
Promise and potential is
Yeah.
all Cleveland needs.
That's all Cleveland needs. Absolutely right.
Well, Cleveland needs a lot of stuff, but we'll be right back to you with 3-point view after this. We're the working man's version of sports talk radio. We're the Brett Favre of sports talk radio. We drink motor oil for breakfast, folks. Be a man. Subscribe to 3-point view.
While you're at it, don't forget to hit that notification bell.
Don't forget to check us out on our Twitter and Instagram account, 3 Point View.
Have a good one.